Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I will talk a little bit about some things I will consider important when buying a used revolver. There is no law that you have to do it like this. It's just things that I consider useful and you decide by yourself what you want to do or leave. First thing you might ask, what do I want to do with this revolver? This one apparently, see, it's clear. This one is for target shooting. You see this handle for single hand holding. You see this nice huge rear sight, and you have a front sight which you can switch between two different positions. This one clearly is for target shooting. And this is an older type, and you see when I cock it, you see this pin here. And this is what directly hits the primer when the revolver is loaded. And this is actually not very good when you want to carry this. So this one is clearly just for shooting at the range. Because if you carry a revolver like this and you slip and you fall down and in a strange way, or the revolver drops also, and it might hit the primer and then the bad thing happens. There's a very simple way to avoid it. You buy a more modern revolver like this one. This one actually is for carrying for hunters, is a sidearm, and you see there this pin is missing. There is a transfer bar here inside the revolver, and this transfers the power of the hammer only when the trigger is pressed at the same time. So even if you drop this or you drop it from a height, then nothing will happen with this revolver. So this one is safe for carrying, the other one is not. So for the first thing to measure, you need something like this depth gauge, and you need a 1/10 of a millimeter. I think in inch this is 25 thousandths, but I'm not sure about this. But it's a 1/10 of a millimeter. And you measure the gap between the cylinder and the forcing cone. You should see a little bit light coming through this, and you measure with this whether this pushes through or not. And this should go not too easy, not too hard. This one is just right. And you do this with every chamber, and you also try whether you can wiggle this a little bit. If you can wiggle this a little bit, or you have different distances in this chamber and maybe that chamber, this is an indication that the cylinder is not perfectly aligned to the barrel. So it's something like a little bit out of center, and then I would not buy such a revolver. But it's up to you. The next thing to check is the so-called timing. You may see when I cock the revolver, now it's not cocked yet, you see, still one, but the cylinder is already in the cylinder stop. And it should wiggle a tiny little bit, maybe a 1/10 of a millimeter, not more. And not else. So always when you cock it, it's still not, and this one is already in arrest, and that's the way it should be. Yeah, it should not wiggle too much, and if the trommel stop or the cylinder stop does not engage, despite the hammer is almost completely cocked, I would not buy this thing. This is very dangerous to shoot with such revolvers. So the timing must be absolutely okay. So when we have a look at the next thing, it's important to check again whether there is really nothing in, because you have to look barrel down, and best you take a nice lamp to do so, and you look in the barrel and you check with every chamber. So you have to do this 6 times whether you see something like a black sickle, and if you see this black sickle, then that means the cylinder is not perfectly aligned to the barrel, and I would not buy such a revolver. And this is also sometimes the cause when you shoot with such revolvers, that you get lead from the bullet, which is somehow stripped away from the bullet in your face. Huh? Never shoot such revolvers. If it happens to you that you see such an old beauty like this one, there are only 4,000 made, so they are quite rare, then I would not be too picky about the cylinder gap. All the other things, when you see I cocked them, this one has actually almost less wiggle when the Smith & Wesson revolver, despite it's more than 100 years older, everything with this revolver is okay, but about the cylinder gap I would not be too picky. When you have such one chance in your lifetime that you get such a revolver and all the other safety features are okay, I would buy it. So that's more or less all I want to tell you in this video. These are things which I consider important despite the common stuff. So if there is rust in the barrel, of course you don't buy it. And if there is a thing obviously wrong, then you don't buy it. You may from the outside not see if someone did something to the trigger which you don't like. There you have to be an expert, which I'm not, so I cannot tell you, at least not from the outside and probably also not from the inside, whether somebody changed something at the trigger which is not good. I cannot tell. But the things from the outside, which I told you, I consider important when I buy a used revolver. So thank you very much for watching the video to the end. I hope you found the content interesting, and see you at the range sometime. Have a nice day.